This is Unearthing Eden, a podcast hosted by two witches where we will primarily be discussing all things metaphysical and witchy. Welcome to our garden. Shadow work was a term first coined by Carl Jung. He's a Swiss psychologist and he came up with the concept of a shadow self. This term is relating to the parts of our personality that we either repress or shun because we might feel that they are unsavory or toxic. This is not referring to a concept of white and black magic. The idea that colors can be good or evil is not something that we believe, mainly due to its ties with racial discrimination. Shadow work is deeply personal and it's about facing that internal bias or trauma in the parts of ourselves that we're trying to cover up.
When you start shadow work, your biggest question to yourself is going to be, where am I supposed to start? How do I begin? And where do I begin? So making that decision to begin shadow work is going to be scary and daunting. It starts with asking yourself the hard questions and being completely open and honest with yourself. It is extremely humbling and introspective. We did compile a list of questions that you can start with. So if you want to, while I'm reading out these questions, you can pause really fast, write them down. You can answer them as I say them. It really is up to how you want to do this. What makes you uncomfortable? Could it be confrontation, setting boundaries with a loved one, or taking accountability when you are in the wrong? What would you change about yourself and why? What personality trait do you see in others that you don't like? And do you ever see that personality trait in yourself? Is it hard for you to accept when you are wrong in a situation? Do you have a hard time or struggle apologizing? These questions are a good icebreaker to open yourself up to deeper topics and learning your patterns. It can help you sort through your thoughts and find your triggers.
Identifying your triggers is going to be essential in your shadow work. When something triggers you, what we're referring to is what gives you a strong emotional reaction. And usually it is a negative reaction. It's something that upsets you greatly. When something triggers you, how you typically react is going to be your baseline for finding where you are in your journey already. If being criticized, for example, triggers you, take note of how you're reacting to that situation and what specifically upset you about it. Could it be maybe the way that it was worded to you, or do you maybe feel like it's an attack on your character? It could even be the person that's saying it to you. Understanding your triggers and how they affect you is the first step to breaking that cycle and changing your reactions. We cannot change the way we feel, but we can change the way that we react. How did you feel in the aftermath of that interaction after you had time to think it over a little? Do you disagree or agree with them now? For a lot of us, we experience feedback, both positive and negative, a lot. It's very understandable to be upset when you feel that you're not treated fairly or you're not being heard. What would you say if you had the chance to go back on those situations? A very common thing that I've seen is after an argument, you will start thinking about how you should have responded, or you'll say, "Oh, I wish I would have said this and this instead of that." Doing shadow work and working through those things so that you can help change your reactions to it will give you the time to think a little bit more before you respond. It'll help you regulate your emotions better so you won't have as many outbursts, or you are better in control of the situation itself.
One of the ways that we track our shadow work is through journaling. Journaling is a wonderful way for us to collect our thoughts and feelings and keep a record of your day, week, month, year. You can use journaling to do shadow work exercises and return to them at a later date, writing down an interaction that you just had, and then seeing in the future if you still agree or if you now disagree with how you reacted or what you said. We will be posting some beginner-friendly journal prompts to our Instagram for you to review and to use to get started. Not everyone is going to enjoy journaling. There are other ways for you to get your thoughts down. You can create a video diary, type them in your phone notes, create an image board, or create a voice recording diary. Again, it is super important to keep a record of your progress so you can look back to see how far you have come and what you may need to revisit.
Some signs of a repressed or neglected shadow can include the inability to control your anger or even having violent outbursts, unable to take accountability. Maybe you always see yourself as the victim in every situation and you refuse to see other sides. You're unable to identify emotions at times. You may make up scenarios in your head where you're arguing with somebody, or maybe where you feel like your friends don't like you for absolutely no reason. And this also goes into negative daydreaming, where you are daydreaming about having a negative interaction before it even happens. And this could be with somebody you know and hold close to you, or somebody that you don't know at all. And having a negative internal dialogue about yourself. So, this is negative self talk. Some ways that you can combat this is doing a self check in. When you catch yourself having these types of daydreams or internal dialogues, redirecting these thoughts into something more positive or even neutral, if you're not quite there yet, can do a lot of difference in your day. Remind yourself that this is not your reality. And a disclaimer, please be aware that this is not a comprehensive list and we are not mental health professionals. We will always encourage our listeners to consult a professional if they feel like they need it. We understand that some may not feel safe in this state while doing shadow work, and we're going to be linking some resources to mental health professionals and consultations as well as hotlines. Please take care of yourselves and know that there is help out there and your life is worth living. So, at the beginning of this episode, I pulled a tarot card for us, and I would like to share that with everyone. So, the card I pulled was from the Modern Witch Tarot deck by Lisa Sterling. I really hope I pronounced her last name right. I pulled the Magician card, and the Magician is one of the major cards. It is representing manifestation and focusing in your intentions and what you want to bring into reality. It signifies your power and your will and how determined you are. It can also be telling you that you already have the skills that you need to succeed, and maybe you need to tap into those. It can represent the link between the spiritual and material world. Depending on the context, this card can indicate either you have a very strong will and it's a great time for creativity and to start manifesting. Sometimes it can also suggest that you need to really start focusing in and maybe you're struggling to bring your ideas to life. And that concludes the tarot card that I want to share with you guys. I'm going to send it over to Sarah so that she can share the crystal of the week.
Getting the magician we're gonna take that as a good sign.
Yeah.
But anyway, ready for the crystal?
Yes.
Okay, so today we chose obsidian. It helps in our root chakras, and eventually we'll get into the chakras and everything along those lines, but I just want to make it known that it is a part of the root chakra. Its biggest properties are going to be protection, grounding, and spiritual cleansing. And it is a really good aura cleanser as well. It helps shield against negativity, and it also helps against spiritual and psychic attacks and harmful intentions from other people or other entities. It helps promote a clear state of mind, it releases mental blocks, and it helps you process your emotions. It is great for personal growth and discovery, which is why we have it paired with shadow work. Whenever you start your shadow work journey, if we could recommend any crystal or any herb, it's similar to selenite where you can use it at any point in time in your journey, and it's a really good starter stone, and it's really good for starting that base level of protection. And of course, every crystal, herb, stone is going to be affiliated with a zodiac sign. That does not mean only that zodiac sign can use that stone. It is just going to allow that user to have a more profound calling to that stone and you'll see success with it. So the zodiac sign that goes along with obsidian would be Scorpio, and it helps bring a balance and safety and grounding to any Scorpio that tends to be emotionally imbalanced and has a lot of baggage. The different types of obsidian happen when different like chemicals and different stones and different things happen in the vicinity or when the magma cools. So we have mahogany, which is a reddish type of obsidian, and it's got that reddish hue because of hematite. And then we get the rainbow and sheen obsidian because of magnetite. And the only reason that they're classified as different hues or colors is because of how it cools and where you can find it. So the rainbow is going to have kind of like but I don't want to say oil slicked, but whenever you move it, you'll get the color, like the rainbow spectrum. But then the sheen is going to be one solid, like silvery color, and it's not going to have that rainbow effect. And then you'll also get the snowflake obsidian. That one is going to be white and gray. I actually have one of those. It's so pretty. And then that forms with magnetite or hematite, either mixed together or separated depending on where the magma cools and the location, depending on how deep it is or anything along those lines. And then you have fire, which is it's a reddish orange that has an extra influx of hematite. No, I'm sorry. Fire has an influx of magnetite plus an extreme amount of heat. Golden and black are going to be the standard across the board. And again, it's just depending on how deep into the volcano or the magma flow is really what changes the color of the obsidian. Now get this, okay? So you may be saying, Sarah, where can I find some raw obsidian? Well, unfortunately for you guys, it only happens with volcanic action. So what that means is that there's going to be a lot of ash flow. There's going to be a lot of magma, lava. It could be as recent as a week ago. It could be as far back as 1,000,000 years ago. I cleanse my tarot cards and my other crystals. I use the moonlight of a new moon. I love it so much. Do you ever use obsidian or any of its variants?
So to wrap this episode up, I want to share with you some of the ultimate goals of shadow work and why you would even want to do this. Shadow work is all about healing trauma. It's about growing mentally and spiritually and letting go of things that may seem really hard right now. But our ultimate goal for everything should be to heal ourselves spiritually and mentally so that we can really go through life and experience it the way that we need to without those things holding us back. Shadow work is wonderful for anybody to do, but another kind reminder, please seek professional help if you feel like you are in a very dark place. This is not for the faint of heart. This is not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to talk about. This is something that is deeply profound and special to you. But just be very mindful and do a lot of self-check-ins throughout this so that you can make sure that you are taking care of your mental health.
Don't forget, be kind to yourself throughout this journey. Thank you for coming to our garden. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Let us know in the comments how you used the crystal we showcased today and if you would like us to talk about any in the future. See you next time.